defeating the nuns and the rock climbers. And for their Busman's holiday of a lifetime, we sent them to see how a very different sport is refereed, sumo wrestling in Japan. And that's where we join them now.
The phrase holiday of a lifetime can be a bit of a cliche, but I really feel for me that applies in Japan. You really get the feeling that you're in a foreign country, the feeling that we were having a chance to look at firsthand at a completely different culture, and different customs, different food, totally different way of life.
It was a strange feeling having all the locals following us around, and it seemed that the only reason was because we were wearing a Highland dress.
We were all a bit worried when we were surrounded by the schoolgirls that there might be some wandering hands going up our kilts at the back. That was why we all had smiles on our faces.
In Japan, even having a cuppa is distinctly different. No question here of casually drowning a tea bag. It's the strict formality of the tea ceremony to prepare the refs for a ritual of a less courtly kind.
The sumo training session we attended was held early in the morning, and we were very impressed by the total dedication of all the fighters. When you compare the sumo wrestler's lifestyle to the lifestyle of the full-time footballer back home, the differences are vast. Here it's more a way of religion. At home it is just a professional sport. When the two wrestlers were heading towards me, I had to take evasive action, and I'm certain that's the fastest I've moved all season.
The sumo tournament is appropriately called the basho, presided over by the referee or gyoji.
Well, the first thing that struck us about them was the costume, which was a silk kimono, which you think would go down a bundle if we wore them at Ibrox or Parkhead. You get quite drawn to the ritual. The sort of tension builds up as you see them trying to psych each other out. This involves squatting down, staring at each other, getting up again. They walk outside the ring and they'll each lift up a handful of salt, which is thrown into the ring to ward off evil spirits.
From one traditional sport to another, the martial art of kendo.
At first, when they were warming up, they just looked typically polite, very fit Japanese martial arts exponents. But once they got the full combat gear on and shouted and screamed, they looked really fearsome. You could just imagine them going into battle behind the Japanese warlords.
Kendo could be useful for football referees, so our team exchanged their Scottish midi skirts for the full-length ball gowns of the samurai, and for what must be the Japanese equivalent of the tam o' shanter. The refs are about to take on 3 kendo experts who just happen to be Japanese policemen.
I was quite happy when I was dishing out the treatment, but I wasn't very happy when it was dished out to me. In fact, it was jolly painful.
Ouch! So it's goodbye to our twice successful team and hello to 3 teams of newcomers. And they are, from Yorkshire and Lancashire, a clatter of clogmakers. From Manchester, a forecast of airport planners. And also from the Manchester area, a balance of bank managers. And the captain of our airport planners is Louise Condon. Good evening.
Hello, Julian. Can I introduce Neil Pakey and Chris Walkden, and together we make up part of the planning team at Manchester Airport, and we're aiming to fly high tonight.
Thank you. The captain of our clogmakers is Walter Hurst. Good evening, Walter.
Good evening, Julian. I'm from Wigan. This is Trevor Owen from Rotherham, and Rick Ribitsky from Todmorden. And we're hoping to give both teams tonight a bit of clog.
Thank you very much. And the captain of our bank managers is Tony Shaw. Good evening.
Good evening, Julian. I'm from Walkden. We're three managers from the Royal Bank of Scotland, and my colleague here, Barry Pollitt, is from Chapel in Frith, and my friend and colleague, Ron Mason, from Cheadle, and we're banking on winning.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, we start, as usual, with a buzzer round, 5 triple options and 5 follow-ups, and a travel total of 20 to be won. First triple option, Bluebird, Black Streak or Thrust. In which one was a New World Land Record planners Neil?
Bluebird.
Bankers Barry.
Thrust.
Yes, Thrust 2, at a speed of 633.468 in 1983. Your follow-up, which British driver took the world land speed record at Lake Eyre in Australia in 1964? And of course you may confer on this.
All right, 74. Yeah. I think it was Donald Campbell.
You're correct. Next triple option. Was it William Dampier, Captain James Cook or Matthew Flinders who was the first Englishman to land in Australia? Bankers Tony.
Captain James Cook.
Clogmakers Walter.
Flinders.
No, it wasn't. It was William Dampier in 1688. Next triple option. Is it the city of Leningrad, Damascus or Lisbon that stands on the river Tagus? Clogmakers Walter.
Lisbon.
Correct. Your follow-up. During the Peninsular War, Lisbon was defended by the British under Sir Arthur Wellesley, who was eventually granted which title?
The Marquis of Douro.
No, it was the Duke of Wellington. Next triple option. Is it in Brazil, Central Africa or China that you would find the desert called Taklamakan? Bankers Tony.
China.
Correct. Your follow-up. Which of the world's great deserts covers 500,000 square miles, partly in China and partly in Mongolia?
Go by.
The Gobi Desert is correct. And the final triple option. In Central Africa, is it copper, gold or tin that is the main mineral produced? Clogmakers Walter.
Copper.
Copper, yes, the main mineral produced in Zambia. And your follow-up. Which Scottish-born explorer died in 1873 in what is now Zambia while searching for the source of the Nile?
Livingston.
Correct. Well, after the first round, the airport planners have so far failed to get off the ground, but making a nice initial deposit with a travel total of 8 are the bank managers from the Manchester area. Round 2, and our teams face questions on each other's occupations. Of course, this is really a general knowledge round, because until they came to the studio today, they hadn't a clue who they were going to be up against. And first, airport planners and bank managers, before we ask you to draw on your undoubtedly profound knowledge of clog making, let's join clogmaker's Rick in his workshop as he talks about the clogmaker's art.
In Lancashire now, there are about 6 clog makers, which is quite low when you think that at the turn of the century, there were about 2,000 in the county. There's quite a lot of interest in clogs and clog making at present. I suppose the Cloggy cartoon has done something towards that, although it does give a false impression of clogs and clog makers. The continental equivalent of the English clog is the sabot, but of course there is one major difference between the two. I often hear a pair of clogs passing the window and I go and have a look and think, oh yeah, I made those a few months ago. That's very satisfying. Now, how does that feel?
Yeah, I feel alright.
Good.
Right, airport planners, here's your clog-related question. Unlike an English clog, a Dutch clog has an upturned toe. What is the other main difference in their construction?
A Dutch clog is made of wood, and an English clog has a leather upper.
Correct. Bankers, which cartoonist immortalised a team of Lancashire clog dancers?
Bill Tidy.
Correct. Still on footwear and back to the buzzers. What was unusual about shoes called chopines, which were highly fashionable in Venice and are mentioned in Shakespeare's Hamlet? Planners Louise.
High heels.
Bankers Barry.
Platform soles and platform heels.
Correct, yes, up to 2 feet in height. Who is the patron saint of shoemakers? Bankers Tony.
Saint.
I will now complete the question. Who is the patron saint of shoemakers, on whose feast day the Battle of Agincourt was fought on October the 25th, 1415? And it was planners Neil who buzzed, yeah.
St. Crispin.
Correct. In which novel by Charles Dickens is shoemaking the occupation of Dr. Alexandre Manette for many years whilst a prisoner? Planners Louise.
Tale of Two Cities.
Correct. Little Boot was the nickname of which sadistic Roman emperor? Bankers Tony.
Caligula.
Correct. Yes, when a child he wore tiny soldier's boots, apparently. Now, planners and clogmakers, we all have our own ideas about what bank managers do and how they do it. But before your banking questions, let's hear about it from their point of view. Here's Bankers Ron at his branch in Cheadle.
Over the last 20 years, the changes in banking have been absolutely tremendous. Not only have we had to cope with ever-changing legislation and, of course, keeping abreast of the new technology, but we are now operating in a far more competitive environment. On this high street alone, I have got 5 other major banks competing for the same business, and it's my job to make sure that my customers get the best service possible at the most competitive rates. Most of my day is spent reviewing and controlling the lending within the branch, conducting customer interviews, and maintaining business and professional contacts.
Right, Mr. Roberts, I think I've got everything on here that I need.
The most rewarding part of my work is when I can see a business grow into a larger, successful operation and feel that we as a bank have been able to assist.
Now, clogmakers, a question for you that certainly doesn't need any specialised knowledge. The Queen appears on the front of a £10 note. Who appears on the back?
Florence Nightingale.
Correct. And planners, on which value of banknote can you see a picture of the balcony scene from Romeo and Juliet?
50.
No, I'm afraid it's a £20 note and a picture of Shakespeare. Back on the buzzers, if a customer told you she wanted to buy some shares quoted on the USM, what would she... Planners Louise.
Unlisted securities market.
Correct. What in Britain is called the lender of last resort? Planners Louise.
Bank of England.
Correct. The name of which creature was used for the EEC's currency linking procedure before the... Planners Louise.
Snake.
Yes, correct. What did the Bank of England buy for £1 in 1984 which hit the headlines? Clogmakers Rick.
Johnson Matthey Bank.
Correct. Well, finally, clogmakers and bank managers, your questions relating to airport planning. But first, a glimpse of our planners at work at Manchester's International Airport.
We're responsible for all aspects of airport planning, from car parking right through to cargo facilities, and forecasting passenger flows. And although we're not the biggest airport in the world, we did handle over 7 million passengers last year. Over the last 4 years, we've been planning a new satellite extension capable of handling 4 aircraft simultaneously. It opened in July 1986 with a visit by Concorde.
Move the strip a couple of inches to the right, please, for me.
Now that we've completed our new satellite, we have to make sure that the aircraft park in exactly the right place to allow them to be handled. And to do this, we have to set up a docking guidance system called Agnes Papa.
Left a bit further.
One of the most rewarding aspects of the job is when you get planning right and passengers flow through the building without any delays, and we see them away on a happy holiday.
Now, clogmakers, between you, see if you can tell me this. In 1984, O'Hare Airport was the busiest in the world. In which city is it located?
Chicago.
Correct. And bankers, which airport did the British Concorde fly to on its maiden passenger flight?
John F. Kennedy.
No, it wasn't. It was to Bahrain. Back on the buzzers, work officially began in 1986 on the airport at the Royal Docks in East London, which will be called a stole port. What does stole port? Clogmakers Trevor.
Short takeoff and landing.
Correct. Which place is served by Kai Tak Airport? Bankers Barry.
Hong Kong.
Correct. In 1986, which country had the world's largest airport with the largest control tower? Bankers Ron.
USA.
Clogmakers Trevor.
SSR.
No, it was actually Saudi Arabia, the King Khalid Airport at Riyadh. Where was London's civil airport in the 1920s and 30s before Heathrow was built? Clogmakers Trevor.
Gatwick.
Bankers Barry.
Luton.
No, it was at Croydon. Well, glancing at the half-time scores, you'll see that although the relative positions haven't changed, now only 4 points separate our three teams. Still just hanging on to the lead with a travel total of 16 are the bank managers from around Manchester. In just a few minutes, our teams face questions on their own occupations and the research round. See you soon.
Course, you know what we put in butter that makes it taste proper?
What?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Very important, that. Can't leave that out.
We really do put nothing in butter, unless you like it salted. There's no colouring, no preservatives, no E-numbers, nothing. Which is why nothing has the real taste of butter.
How do you get it in there, then?
It'll be a trade secret, that.
When you need a break.
A coffee break?
No, a different break. A chocolate break.
Make the break.
Cadbury's chocolate break, made with real Cadbury's chocolate. It's easy to make this chocolate break, and it's light and delicious and wide awake.
Make the break.
Cadbury's chocolate break, made with real Cadbury's chocolate. So the next time you feel like a different break, any time of day, have a chocolate break.
Make the break.
Cadbury's chocolate break, make the break.
If you hear or see something suspicious, something the police should know about, never be afraid to call them, even if you're not sure. They won't mind if you've made a mistake. If you're suspicious, call the police. Don't wait till it's too late.
Surprise, surprise, Aidy Bradley wanted to be a cover girl, and here she is on the front of this week's TV Times alongside Michael Elphick. Inside, read how her dream came true. Craigie crumpled Michael's face, launched him on the road to stardom. Tyne Daly became Dirty Harry's sidekick and took the first step to success. Lucky for some, 13 diamond ring and bracelet sets to be won. And don't take a chance on missing your favourite programmes. Take TV Times, it's full of surprises.
TV Times.
Welcome back. Well, a few weeks ago I mentioned that for round 3, when our teams face questions on their own occupations, we have expert question setters from the same walk of life, and they're also available to check the answers, and they'll certainly be standing by now to see how our teams fare tonight. Neil, in the April 1982 report of the BAAIATA study group on methodology for airport capacity assessment, at departure passport control, how much queuing space should be allocated per passenger without hold baggage?
0.6 metres squared.
Correct. Louise, at the time of the airport's policy white paper of 1985, how many scheduled routes from regional airports had been granted rights, where possible, to operate as international services?
5,000.
No, it's 1,500. And Chris, what is the CAA's criterion for the minimum clearance between manoeuvring aircraft and any obstruction as a percentage of the wingspan of the aircraft?
20%.
Correct. And your team question. CAP 168, licensing of aerodromes, identifies 4 types of aerodrome declared distances. What are they?
Takeoff run available.
Correct.
Takeoff distance available.
Correct.
Emergency distance.
Correct.
And landing distance.
Correct. On to the clog makers. Trevor, what was the name of the leather, often from India, considered to be the best for heavy-wearing men's clogs?
Kip.
Correct. Walter, what is the name of the type of nail used for attaching the strip of leather around the clog to fasten the clog upper onto it?
Clog nail. Clog welt nail.
Welt nail is what I wanted. Thank you. Rick, which Lancashire town gave its name to a particular kind of clog iron which was made from heavy steel and was grooved only at the toe end?
Corn iron.
Correct. And your team question, When making clogged soles, 3 tools are used. One is the blocker or stock knife. What are the technical names of the other 2 knives that are used in this process?
Yeah. Hollower.
Correct.
And gripper.
Yes, correct. And you've got a maximum. Bank manager's Barry. A limited company customer can give a bank a floating charge over its assets as security. What other type of customer can give a similar type of security?
Any trading company?
No, that's not the answer. It's a farmer under the Agricultural Credits Act of 1928. And Tony, a banker should stop his customer's account if he learns for certain that the customer is an undischarged bankrupt and inform the trustee in bankruptcy or the official receiver. If he does not hear within a certain period, he may then continue transactions. For how long must the account remain stopped?
21 days.
No, it's 1 month. And Ron, under the government small firms loan guarantee scheme, the government guarantees to the bank a certain percentage of the loan should the business fail to repay. What percentage does the government guarantee?
80%.
No, it's 70%. And your team question? A banker must keep his customers' affairs secret. As a result of the 1924 Tournier case, there are 4 sets of circumstances under which he may make disclosures to a third party. What are those 4 sets of circumstances?
On the implied or explicit authority of the customer.
Correct.
In the public's interest.
Correct.
In the bank's interest.
Correct.
And by order of the court.
Yes, by compulsion of law. Correct. Well, looking at the scores at the end of round 3, you can see that the picture has changed entirely. It's still very close, but now carving out a lead for themselves are the clogmakers from Lancashire and Yorkshire. Round 4 is, of course, the research round, and our teams are waiting to discover which of 4 geographical locations they'll be tested on tonight. So let's discover, what is tonight's research round destination? So, 12 questions on Corfu, an incorrect answer forfeits 2. Which arcade along the Esplanade was based... Clogmakers Walter.
Liston.
Correct. Based on the Rue de Rivoli in Paris. Which country took control of Corfu under the Treaty of Paris in 1814, Planners Louise?
Britain.
Correct. When is St. Basil's Day celebrated, Bankers Ron?
January 1st.
That is correct. Which nation bombarded Corfu town, Bankers Barry?
1923, Italy.
Correct. What is blessed on Corfu on Epiphany Day, Clogmakers Walter?
St. Spiridon.
No, it's the waters. Forfeits 2. In which villa was Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, Bankers Ron?
Monrepos.
Monrepos is correct. He was born there in 1921. Which dynasty of kings ruled Corfu in the 13th and 14th centuries, Bankers Barry?
Epirus.
No, it was the Angevins. Forfeits 2, which makes bankers and clogmakers all square. For what purpose is the Achilleon Palace used today, Planners Louise?
Casino.
Correct. What did Sir Frederick Adams, Clogmakers Walter?
He built a road from Paleocastrista to Corfu town.
No, what did Sir Frederick Adam establish in Corfu that his statue commemorates? And the answer to that is Corfu's piped water supply. Forfeits 2. 3 to go. What's the English name of Pondiconisi? Bankers Ron.
Mouse Island.
Correct. Penultimate question. Who's the patron saint of Corfu? Planners Neil.
St. Spiridon.
Correct. And the final question. What are the inhabitants of Corfu called? Clogmakers Walter.
Corfiorts.
Correct.
And it's a draw. So for the first time on Busman's Holiday, we have a tiebreak between the bank managers and the airport planners.
I'm going to ask one further question. Whichever team buzzes in first and answers correctly will be the winners of tonight's Busman's Holiday. If you answer incorrectly, of course, the other side will win. Which author wrote Prospero's Cell, Planners Neil?
Lawrence Durrell.
Correct.
That's the end of the contest, and the winners of Busman's Holiday tonight, after a tie-break finish, are the airport planners from Manchester.
Thanks very much. Very good.
Well, cogmakers and bank managers, all I can say to you is thank you. Thank you very much for making it quite simply the best and the closest contest we've ever had on Busman's Holiday. And you just made it by the skin of your teeth. Well, we shall be seeing you here, of course, next week when you'll have a go for that Busman's Holiday of a lifetime. But now let's find out where in Europe we're going to send you for your first Busman's Holiday.
For your Busman's Holiday, we will be dropping you by helicopter onto one of the world's newest and most unusual airports. You'll be joining the new £300 million aircraft carrier, HMS Ark Royal. You'll be joining her on patrol in the Med as guests of the captain and crew. And you can watch it firsthand as Sea Harriers from 801 Naval Air Squadron perform precision takeoff and landing maneuvers at sea.
Congratulations, Louise, Chris and Neil. I'm Captain Jim Weatherall of HMS Ark Royal, and I greatly look forward to welcoming you on board next week for our passage from Gibraltar to Lisbon.
Well, next tonight on Central, a feature-length episode as a taster for our new series, LA Law.